Okay, we're doing another one today. I'm able to do these, apparently. For some reason, this formula of video just works, probably because it requires a lot less effort than that 1 hour and a half video I did that took me weeks. But I'm counting this as 4 videos in 4 days because I was only working on these from like Monday to Thursday last week. But yeah, I finished editing the ASG one last week. Oh no, yesterday. But I'm counting that as 4 done in 4 days because it's just better encouragement for me if I lie to myself. I recently watched the Blade films because he was coming out in Marvel Rivals and they are absolutely beautiful. The cool thing about the Blade films isn't like, obviously the films themselves are absolutely amazing, but like there's just so much like plot and lore around the films. Recently I've been like struggling to sleep, so if I wake up in the middle of the night, there's this one channel I watch that talks about like, it's just mostly like Marvel and DC films and what the original intent was and how that changed over the course of production, because I have a lot of interest in like film production and like cinematography and stuff. It also makes me feel smash. And in one of those times I was half asleep and I was listening to one of these and he was talking about Blade Trinity. Off the top of my head, the things I can remember is Ryan Reynolds just absolutely eating into Wesley Snipes for the entire film, everyone thinking that was funny so they left it in the film. Wesley Snipes apparently has this big thing for like method acting, which I'm pretty sure he has done for all 3 of the films because he really likes, like, he is Blade. Blade is Wesley Snipes and Wesley Snipes is Blade. At least this version. The original Marvel version was a lot different. I think that's one of the only times a comic book character has been changed so drastically from the comics and people actually loved it. Now that's probably because comic book stuff wasn't big back then. I don't think anyone wanted to see superhero films. I don't think people mostly want to see superhero films now. I think people just liked action films. Like if you watched Suicide Squad recently, it is mostly an action film with like eccentric characters attached to it. Nothing wrong with that. It is an absolutely amazing film. But then you get stuff like the recent Superman, which is like, that is a superhero film. That is like a proper superhero film. And I love it. Blade really just set the scene for like the MCU, which is like, you know, I'm a Marvel nerd. This is big for me. So we're skipping straight to Blade Trinity because I was going to go through the first few, but not a lot happened with those. This one off the top of my head just had a lot tied to it. So we're going to go through it. I'm going to skip the plot because I don't think anyone wants to hear me describe the plot of this film for like, that's going to take me like 15 minutes to get through after editing, so not doing that. I mostly just want to talk about everything that happened around the film because it is absolutely insane. So, starting off here, we got Blade Trinity. Blade Trinity is a 2004 American superhero film written and directed by David S. Goyer. I'm so happy that this is probably the first one of these videos I'll actually be able to pronounce all of the names. It was produced by Goyer, Peter Frankfurt, Lynn Harris, and Wesley Snipes, who also starred in the leading role as the title character, which he has done for most of the films. Based on the Marvel comic character of the same name, it is a sequel to Blade 2 and the 3rd installment of the Blade franchise. The film co-stars Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel, and Chris Christopherson, Dominic Purcell, Parker Posey, and Triple H. They just use they don't like use Triple H's like actual name, they just use his wrestler name. Paul Michael Lavask, I did not know that was his actual name. Vampire leader Danica Talos has framed Blade for numerous murders, and alongside a team of rogue vampire hunters, he must fight his most challenging enemy yet, Dracula. I should say, I did like watch like the first like half an hour of the film, but I stopped. Ryan Reynolds showed up and like, yeah, he's great, but it felt so weird. I'm not going to give any criticisms of the film because I haven't actually like watched all of it. I had no idea Dracula was in it. Blade Trinity was released in the United States on December 8, 2004. The film grossed $132 million at the box office worldwide on a budget of $65 million and received mostly negative reviews from critics for its formulaic themes, directing, and acting. Okay, maybe it wasn't too bad of a shout to stop watching that film a little bit in. It is the worst reviewed film in the trilogy. The film was followed by a television series, Blade the Series, in 2006, with Sticky Fingers replacing Snipes. Marvel regained the film rights to the character in 2012. Snipes reprised his role as Blade in the 2024 film Deadpool and Wolverine, which starred Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. A reboot film set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and starring Mahershala Ali is in development. Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, a reboot film? They highlighted the word reboot. I thought they were going to talk about this specific reboot. Wait, let me check that. Reboot? Has that been announced? I didn't even know that. Announced in 2019. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, next bit is the plot. Like I said, we're not going to go through the plot. Alternate endings, though, I did want to check. Now, obviously, minor spoilers for the film if you want to watch it. I recommend watching it anyway. All of the films are amazing. Also, I don't know what the actual ending is, so this could be better or it could be worse. In the unrated extended edition, the body in the morgue does not transform back into Drake. Blade awakens as the autopsy begins and attacks the doctor and FBI agents present. The scene ends as he menacingly approaches a cowering old orderly. King narrates that the virus did not kill Blade, as the human half of his heart did not stop beating. It only slowed down, causing him to enter into a comatose state until he was ready to walk the earth again. In another alternate ending, the Night Stalkers reappear 6 months later, having tracked a werewolf to a casino in Asia. I'm assuming Blade dies in the end of this film, or something happens to him anyway. Considering my knowledge of the film, I like to imagine that Wesley Snipes just really did not want to die. Or he probably just thought he couldn't, because he's awesome like that. Cast. Yeah, that's just a regular cast. Okay, production. Let's get to the juicy bits. In 2001, before the release of Blade 2, New Line Cinema made a deal with David S. Goyer to write and produce a third Blade film. In 2002, German director Oliver Hirschbiegel was in talks to direct the film, but chose to instead direct a film about Adolf Hitler called Downfall. That's, did Downfall do good? Why am I asking? This one didn't do good. Goyer, friends with both Stephen Norrington and Guillermo del Toro. Del Toro did conceptual artwork for the film and was thanked in the end credits. Oh, wait. I really like Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro, Blade Trinity artwork. I'm looking it up, I can't find anything in particular. Not in images anyway. Blade Trinity. They'll probably have it at the end of the... Wait, let me check. They do not. And it's tanked in the end credits. An interview with David S. Goyer. Oh wait, yeah, I can just check the little 6 at the end doesn't bring you to the... Okay. Interview with... There's an IGN one. Wait. Control F. Guillermo. There we go. Can you talk a little bit more of the vinyl design of the Drake monster? Originally, I was going to go super crazy. Stephen Norrington, in the wake of League, was like, I'm done with Hollywood. I'm friends with both Stephen and Guillermo, and they gave me lots of advice, and I was gearing up for this film. They both read the script, and I was telling Stephen about some of the ideas for Drake, and he said, if you want, I'll do some conceptual art for you. Oh. Wait, yeah, he was saying that to Stephen. So you worked for a month on the film and as a conceptual art. Wait, I thought, did not say Guillermo? Yeah, no, he's in okay, well, from now on, I'm going to actually check the resources, because that is... In August 2003, Ryan Reynolds was in negotiations to join the film, and Ashley Scott was also being considered as his counterpart, and they would also star in a potential spin-off film. Later that month, Jessica Biel signed on to the project. Producers at New Line Cinema suggested casting professional wrestler Triple H, and Goyer was highly skeptical. Goyer was impressed by Triple H's comic timing and self-deprecation, and ended up expanding his role. Oh, that's cool. Apple did not pay for product placement. They made the equipment available, included the option to buy it at a 60% reduction. Thank you, Apple.
Respect!
Alright, production troubles. Reportedly, Wesley Snipes was unhappy with the film's script and original choice of director. David S. Goyer, who had written all 3 films in the franchise, was then selected to replace the director of the film, which Snipes also protested. What? I thought he was angry that they got a different way. Snipes reportedly caused difficulty during filming, including frequently refusing to shoot scenes, often forcing director Goyer to use stand-ins and computer effects to add his character to scenes. Goyer described making the film as the most personally and professionally difficult and painful thing I've ever been through. Like, I'm sure this guy has experienced, like, a lot. Well, no, he's clearly saying that it isn't. Let me see. I'm checking out the resource. Just bring me to the actual page. You don't need to bring me to the references at the bottom. Having said that, I have incredible fond memories of working with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel and a lot of the people on the movie. Ryan and I remain really good friends today. It was a challenged shoot, as has been reported. What can I say? Okay, yeah. I mean, apart from Wesley Snipes, he seems to have enjoyed himself at least, so I'm happy that much. Co-star Patton Oswalt alleged that Snipes would spend too much of his time smoking marijuana in his trailer, and that he became violent with Goyer after accusing him of racism.
They'll kill me. Kill you, motherfucker, I'll kill you.
It has also been alleged that Snipes refused to interact with the rest of the cast and crew, including Goyer, and would instead communicate with the film through his assistance of the use of notes. What? Snipes also allegedly referred to co-star Ryan Reynolds as... I'm not saying that one, Jesus. On one or more occasions. Snipes denied that version of the events and said that as an executive producer on the film, he had the authority to make decisions, but that some people had difficulty accepting that. I'm gonna leave my comments until the end. Snipe had found Reynolds' humor a little too over the top for Blade Trinity. Well, in fairness, I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like, when I was watching the film, this was like 10 minutes before I just turned it off. If Blade was in like an interrogation room and Ryan Reynolds just breaks in through a window, completely unexpected, and like back then, yeah, completely cool. But like, I've seen this man in like Deadpool and like 70 other things. Like, it is just Ryan Reynolds now. I don't remember. I think the character's name is Hannibal or something. Hannibal King. Oh, that's a really cool name. But when he just shows up, I'm like, Ryan Reynolds. It was the performance in Blade that got Ryan Reynolds onto Deadpool. There's a long story there. He pretty much read the comics afterwards and he was hyper fixated on playing Deadpool. It was almost like his destiny. And in fairness, it kind of was his destiny. But Ryan Reynolds shows up in this film. Yeah, I couldn't. But thought it made sense in the context of Deadpool. Yeah, he's probably just saying that because of the Deadpool and Wolverine where he showed up in that, because I know now that they're like good friends anyway, or at least I've heard. Snipes enjoyed working with Ryan Reynolds, stating he's unique in that way and he's found a fantastic niche for himself doing what he does. Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds all day long, so it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable to work with him. It was enjoyable to revisit. Yeah, I don't think he was talking about Blade there, because I heard he was having a really rough spot. I think I'm sorry, I'm not trying to glance down because I know, like, things are just showing up. I just looked down, I saw lawsuits. Okay, language. In the DVD special features, Goya talks about how cities are often multilingual. Goya used Esperanto and its flag as part of the fictional city where Blade is set. The Esperanto flag is shown twice at the entrance of the police headquarters after Blade is rescued from jail, and in rooftop scenes where Drake threatens to drop a baby over the... Oh, Drake, Jesus. I thought I said Blade. Background elements such as signs and advertisements include Esperanto translations. Hannibal King is at one point seen watching the William Shatner starring Esperanto language film Incubus on television. One reviewer remarked that it was an unintentionally apt reference, considering first-time director Goya's grasp of directional fundamentals, such as when to tilt the camera and when to shoot it close-up, is about as strong as Shatner's fluency in Esperanto. What does he mean by that? Wait, let me find that review. Oh wow, this one was, this is a 2004, like, this is on like a blog. Oh my god. Let me see if I can just like Control F it. Control F. It's beautiful. Okay, yeah, same thing again. The film's director of photography, Gabriel Beristain, makes a cameo appearance as the one-eyed newspaper vendor who talks to Whistler in Esperanto and discusses the public perception that Blade is a menace to society. What is Esperanto? Esperanto is the most successful constructed internationally auxiliary language and the only such language... What? What's an auxiliary language? An auxiliary language is one not the primary or native language of a community. It may refer to an What is an... Oh! That makes sense. Okay, so yeah, it's a language without native speakers, I suppose is probably the best way to put it. I've never heard of auxiliary languages before. I read it said that it was made to be easy to learn as a second language, which makes sense. Esperanto, it probably has a lot of like Latin in there, so it's very digestible for most people of like Europe. So that's cool. I didn't know. That's the first time I'm finding out about auxiliary languages. Thank you, Blade Trinity. Music. A soundtrack containing hip-hop beats and electronic music was released on 23rd of November 2004 by New Line Records. It peaked at number 68 on the top R&B hip-hop albums and number 15 on the top soundtracks. Nice. I wish they would say anything about what the... like, anything about it. Let me look up the soundtrack. There's a whole Wikipedia about the... music. Yes, that word. I watched Whiplash last night, so music is kind of like... I'm kind of scared of music now because of J.K. Simmons.
You lost the part.
No, I didn't. Look, you can't do this to me. Yeah.
When did you become expert on what I can or cannot do, you weepy will sack?
It consists of 12 songs and features contributions by the likes of Wu-Tang Clan, Black Lab E40... What? There are 3 different versions of the soundtrack: the clean version, the uncensored version, and the deluxe version. The deluxe version includes a Tailpig comic by Tucker. After that, it's just like a list. That's cool. 3 different versions of a soundtrack for Blade Trinity sounds good. Okay, lawsuits. In 2005, Snipes sued New Line Cinema and Goyer, claiming that the studio did not pay his full salary, that he was intentionally cut out of casting decisions and filmmaking process, despite being one of the producers, and that his character's screen time was reduced in favor of co-stars Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel. In 2006, Snipes was sued by United Talent Agency for allegedly failing to fulfill agreements to pay commissions to the agency on his earnings. Let me look at that one. UTA gripes over Snipes. What a title. Variety? It's like, this guy's getting a raise. The United Talent Agency has sued Wesley Snipes, claiming it is owed $1.49 million in commissions. Alleging breach of contract. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Says Snipes paid only partial commissions for Blade Trinity and Chaos, as well as the upcoming titles in The Shooter. The suit says that on or about February 22nd of this year, Snipes discharged UTA, and from that point on, he has failed and refused to pay commissions. Okay. Oh wow, that's a really short article. Okay. So what happened? He was sued by the. So yeah, he was sued for 1.49 million. Did they just settle? Actually, it probably is on his Wikipedia page. Personal life, income tax convictions, charges, trials, and sentences. The only parts about his personal life are the income tax convictions. 2008? No, that's not right. 2006. Come on, where is it? 2015. Come on, where is it? Oh, okay, that's why. No details were released, but it was settled. Okay, that's good to know. It really just seemed like that he refused to pay it, and then refused to pay it, like just left it at that. Reception, box office. The film's American box office gross was 52 million, and the total worldwide gross was 132 million. This matched the first Blade's take, but came behind Blade 2, which had grossed 150 million worldwide. Movies make too much money. That's a lot of money. That is so much money. Critical response. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 24% based on reviews of 167. Okay, that actually is bad, Jesus. With an average rating of 4.4 out of 10, the website's consensus reads louder, campier, and more incoherent than its predecessors. On Metacritic, the film has a score of 38% based on reviews from 30 critics, indicating generally unfavourable reviews. Rotten Tomatoes included the film at 76 out of 94 on a countdown from 94 to 1 of worst to best comic book film adaptation. I'm trying to think now, what year did they do that? What would be like the worst adaptation now? Is Blade Trinity still the worst superhero film adaptation? Say it in the comments. I'm becoming one of those. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average rating of B+ on an A+ to F scale. Wait, that's... B+ is pretty good. I mean, okay, maybe I just have really low standards. But like, alright, what sounds better, B+ or 24%? Like, B+ sounds marginally better. Roger Ebert, who gave Blade 3 stars out of 4 and Blade 2 3.5 stars, gave Blade Trinity 1.5 stars, writing, "It lacks the sharp narrative line and crisp comic book clarity of the earlier films, and descends too easily into shapeless fight scenes that are chopped into so many cuts that they lack all form or rhythm." James Berardinelli also rated the film 1.5 stars out of 4. Blade Trinity is a carbon copy of its predecessors. It's a kick-ass attitude and style without any substance to back it up. Yet, where the first two Blades satisfied on a visceral level, this one does not. Later, David S. Goyer was also very critical about the final production, saying, "I don't think anyone involved in that film had a good experience on that." Certainly I didn't. I don't think anyone involved with that film is happy with the results. It was a very tortured. Jesus Christ, this poor man. I hope he's still alive. Okay, he's alive. Okay. I was so worried. You're the co-writer? He wrote Black Ops? Black Ops 1, Black Ops... I'm happy he's alive. I'm glad that didn't break him and he went on to do great things like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. The film was nominated for Best Horror Film at the Saturn Awards but lost to Shaun of the Dead. Rightfully so, Shaun of the Dead is class. Home Media. New Line Home Entertainment released the film on DVD in April 26, 2005 on both regular and unrated versions. Early copies of both versions include an exclusive comic book titled Blade Night Stalking. The film was released on Blu-ray in June 19, 2012. It contains only the unrated version. Okay. Oh, Blu-ray. Blade Night Stalking. I have Marvel Unlimited, so wait. Blade Night Stalking, yeah, you can read it on Marvel Unlimited. For anyone who doesn't know, Marvel Unlimited is just like an app. You pay like €7 a month. You can read pretty much every Marvel comic that hasn't come out in like some amount of time. I'll show it on screen. But that has been like my main source of media for I don't know how long. Future. Television series. A follow-up television series titled Blade the Series was released in 2006 and ran for one... Wait, it was released? I thought... How have I never heard of this? Well, it's probably because Wesley Snipes isn't... Blade is... Oh. Oh my. That doesn't look really good. I might have to give that a look at some point. Oh my god. I'm gonna like show the images as well, but like, if you put like Wesley Snipes before, what was it, Sticky Fingers? Sticky Finger! Oh, that's why he says Sticky Finger. I forgot JoJo characters with music references. Cancelled spin-off. In October 2008, Blade director Stephen Norrington was developing a prequel trilogy to Blade, featuring Stephen Dorff reprising his role as Deacon Frost. In 2016, Underworld actress Kate Beckinsale stated that a crossover sequel to Blade Trinity with the Underworld film series had been in development but was cancelled after the film rights reverted to Marvel Studios in 2012. That's interesting. What's Underworld? Is that like... That's not a Marvel property though, is it? Yeah, it's a film series. Underworld. Rise of the Lycans. Blood Wars. I might have to check these out at some point. These posters look really cool. Yeah, okay, I just saw like the poster for like the first film. I can see the resemblance with Blade. That probably actually would have worked. Oh no, I'm not even against that. Well, it's not going to happen. Marvel Cinematic Universe. In May 2013, Marvel had a working script for a new Blade film. Snipes said in July 2015 that he had discussions with Marvel to reprise his role. I really hope he does. I really like Wesley Snipes as Blade. I can't wait for an MCU skin to come out in Marvel Rivals as well. That's going to happen eventually. It would be a sin not to. In July 2019, at San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel Studios announced a Blade reboot set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Mahershala Ali cast as the title character, who first had an uncredited voice cameo role in Eternals. Wait, what? What did he do in that? Wait, Mahershala Ali... I reckon... Is that... Wait! He was Luke Cage. He was Cottonmouth. Oh, I shouldn't call him Cottonmouth. Yeah, okay, he was in Luke Cage. He was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, which favorite character by far. Oh my god. Like, Cottonmouth, like, stole the show for me. Or Mahershala, I suppose, did as well. Like, his performance was so good. Like, it did not feel like it belonged in Luke Cage, let alone a Marvel property. And this guy's going to be... not Cottonmouth. This guy's going to be Blade.
You like my Biggie photo? You know what draws your eye when you look at that? The crown. Because everybody wants to be the king.
And he was in Eternals? I want to know what he did in Eternals now. I need to watch Eternals just so I can listen out for his voice. That actually does make me a little bit excited now. In February 2021, Stacey Osei Kuffour was hired to write the script, with Bassam Tariq hired to direct by that September. Tariq left a year later due to the film's production shifts and creative differences. Jan de Mang was set to direct in November 2022 when Michael Starbury was rewriting the script. While Nick Pizzolatto... Oh my god, let me just do this whole... Why is there so many names here? Jan de Mang was set to direct the film in November 2022 when Michael Starbury was rewriting the script, while Nick Pizzolatto joined as another writer in April 2023, and Michael Green was hired to write a new script by November. De Mang had exited the first film by June 2024 when Pearson was rewriting the script. Blade was originally scheduled to be released on November 7th, 2025. In October 2024, the film was delayed and removed from the release schedule. In 2024, Snipes reprised his role as Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I've heard from that like him and Ryan Reynolds have been good friends since. A tie-in Java mobile game developed by M4 was released. The mobile game got better reviews than the actual film. Wait, let me look. No, not Infinity Blade. Blade Marvel. Blade Trinity. Sorry, that's. It still looks better than the film. Oh my god, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like low poly, like PS1, like, oh my god, that was beautiful. Is that, oh, vampire film. Yeah, there's a list of vampire films, I suppose. Okay, that was absolutely fantastic. God, that was lovely. So yeah, that's how Blade Trinity went. I don't know how this film was made. I don't know. I don't understand a lot of things about people in general, if that wasn't like very obvious. But I just want to know, like, obviously it's like it always goes back to like producers and stuff. But why would anyone even work on the film if you weren't enjoying it? If no one was happy with the direction of the film, why did you make us, again, producers? Because money sucks. That's beautiful. I feel like I learned a lot today. I learned what Esperanto is. I'm probably going to do some research into that because that sounds really interesting. My camera actually died while I was laughing. I'm happy it died because I ended up going on a 7-minute like tangent trying to find out like one fact check, but I couldn't. So yeah, the video game was actually at the very end of the article anyway. This was lovely. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought. I was worried that it would just be like a lot of like numbers and stuff, but there's so much here, and I'm still surprised that this film got made. Why did anyone want to make this? If there's any other films with like troubled productions that you know of, let me know, because this was actually lovely. And in the meantime, I'm going to find out what I'm going to do tomorrow instead, because I want to really switch it up like every day. I don't want to keep doing the same things over and over again, because it's just fun. Also, I've realized that I'm probably going to have to look at the sources a lot more than I was before, because some of these stuff are wrong. That's bad, Wikipedia. I suppose I'm helping Wikipedia in the process as well. Anyway, my phone's on 5%, so I'm going to end this here. Bye-bye.